am going to record this while the gardeners are doing their thing. Good morning. Hi, it's Anne, your friendly neighborhood independent romance author. I don't know when the leaf blowers are going to stop, and I'm kind of short on time, so I am going to record this while the gardeners are doing their thing. But good morning. It is May 31st, 2026. I'm a little over a month until the If You Fall book release. And I thought it'd actually be a good idea to finally get some footage together and see what it's like. I could just trash this whole idea, who knows, but I want to try to get a vlog together and see, what things are like as a indie author, trying to make it work. I tried to do this for my second novel, and the files just tanked, and they kind of got corrupted or something happened with them. I couldn't play them, so I decided to try this again with my third book. Yeah, we're gonna discuss what is going on with my life so far. I have a couple things to do today. I have to post something on my socials because I'm doing socials every 3 days a week or something. And so right now, for at least for the past couple months, I think since maybe December or November, when it came to social media, mostly Instagram, because TikTok, I just can never crack that 200. And I'm not trying to go viral. I'm just trying to be consistent, because I'm not talking about just cracking 200. My stuff was tanking to 50, or my views are tanking to 50. So I don't know what's happening. Sometimes it went to 1,000, sometimes it went to 50, and then it kind of just stayed at 20, and then 50, and then 47, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. But this was roughly around the time when the ownership of TikTok officially moved over to a US-based company, so maybe most likely the algorithm has changed, and I have to figure it out. But until then, I'm primarily on Instagram. So here's my handle, @AnnCraneQuinn, if you want to follow along, and that's usually where I post all updates and all my social stuff. I also basically piggyback it also on Threads too. So when I do my socials, I have this calendar, and I basically write in which post I'm doing. What I try to do first is I try to roughly a month ahead of time, I just create a bunch of posts, create 8 of them or something. And then I usually do it on Canva just because it's easier. I sometimes use Krita, but Canva has already the dimensions in place, so I just use that. And then what I do is I just save it, and then I try to plan out what I'm doing or what I'm going to be posting on which day. However, starting April and from then on, I am having Book Bestie May's next chapter, to be doing all my social media creation content, but I'll be posting it. So she's basically just gonna be sending me the files. I need to check our Notion because she has tried to organize my life, because I have mom brain, perimenopause brain. So she's just been very helpful in making sure my life is relatively streamlined, so I kind of know what I'm doing. And then I have a mammogram because I'm over 40, so that's a thing. So the book I'm releasing soon is If You Fall. It is a slow burn, no spice military romance novel between a healthcare professional. She's technically a care coordinator at a children's hospital, and the Navy pilot who lives across the street. It is a definite departure from my first 2 novels, which is a billionaire organized crime duology, Not Without You and Tell Me Your Mind. So with If You Fall, I actually drew all the art for it. So the cover, the duplex cover, on both sides, and also the chapter art as well. I worked with the same graphic designer who did my first novels, Jasmine Pixel and Ink. She is the one who did the layout design for If You Fall, and also did the back, all the back art or the back cover work. So funny enough, just to be perfectly candid, I am nervous for this book release because it is a definite departure. I'm kind of I'm always usually on the spicy side of book talk, whether it's contemporary spicy, dark spicy, whatever. I'm usually kind of, at least that's what my algorithm is pulling in, because that's what I'm reading. But the no spice romance, I feel like I'm kind of in new territory, so I'm kind of nervous that this book release is, how this is going to go. Because right now, I have pre-orders live right now, in case you want to buy. You have until April 26th. So hopefully this video comes out before then. But April 26th is the end of pre-orders. It's going to be available at the New Romantics, at Romancelandia, and Heartbound Bookshop. Those 3 stores are indie romance book spots, and they are going to host the pre-orders that have all the art swag that I'm going to be including in it. So for the $15 that the market price is for, you're going to get all the extra swag for free. So it's actually a good idea to, pre-order from indie bookstores, because usually they have extra swag to come with the orders, whether it's a signed book plate or a signed sticker or something. So to be perfectly candid, when I was in proofreading mode of If You Fall, basically I'm just it's already been through all the developmental editors, the copy line editing, and now I just need to make sure it's the last cross the T's and dot the I's and the periods. When I did that, I was thinking, I need to start writing the next book. So I already started writing the next book. We're going to call it Night Spartan 2, right? And I was looking forward to it, but I was struggling with it, and I didn't know why. I talked to an author friend of mine, and she was like, it happens, it's normal. I was in a writing slump for 5 months. I couldn't get through. And, I was like, okay, so maybe I'm just tired, maybe I'm just tired. I wrote Not Without You and Tell Me You're Mine, and then If You Fall, and I wrote a kind of back to back, but with maybe only a 2-month gap between them. Because if I wasn't working on one novel, I was going back to the previous novel and editing and adding in things. So technically I never stopped writing. So I was thinking, maybe I'm just super tired. Maybe that's why I'm feeling like this slump. But it turns out I started getting inclinings or ideas for Night Spartan Book 3. And that was a totally different story. It almost felt as if the story just exploded. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, okay, maybe I just need to write this idea down and put it aside and just deal with it later after I finish Night Spartan 2. However, I was watching a video. Who was it? I was watching Bethany Atazadeh. She is a YA fantasy author. I usually watch her videos for a lot of behind the scenes indie author content and how-tos, because she hosts Kickstarters for some of her fantasy novels. So I wanted to, I just love seeing how transparent she is when it comes to how her process in terms of how she does her business. So I was watching it, and she is currently working on a YA fae romance novel. It's Pride and Prejudice meets Cruel Prince meets fae or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't read the back yet, but that's kind of what she's going for. And she was saying that she was having trouble writing the first book. I think it's called Liar in the Hall's Court. So she was saying she was having trouble with book 1, and then she was randomly writing book 2. And And then halfway through her writing a book 2, it started fueling her to continue writing book 1. So she kind of went back, and I think she's had like 4 different revisions of book 4 or book 1. So I was thinking maybe the reason why Night Spartans 3 is calling to me is because I'm really excited about that for some reason. I really need to get it out of my system. So I started writing around my kids' spring break, which is around mid-March. And I haven't stopped writing. Really? So I haven't stopped writing. Like, whether it's 200 words or 1,000 words, like, I just... Is this how narrators feel when, like, stuff's happening outside? Damn, okay. Anyway, so that's kind of where I am with that. I was like, I just couldn't stop writing Night Spartans book 3. So the main character is Vietnamese American. She's first generation Vietnamese American. And I actually like kind of put a blast out to threads. It's like, hey, I need like a cultural consultant. Can someone please contact me? Who's willing to talk to me about these different topics. Artist, she's also an actor. She contacted me and said that she's willing to kind of give me her background and her story. And I was really appreciative about that. So this is her name. You can find her on Instagram. But yeah, so that was really helpful to kind of get some insight. Growing up, she actually grew up on the West Coast, which is helpful because I think my character is going to be from the West Coast as well. But I just kept writing. And so now I am 2 weeks away after starting Night Spartans 3, and I'm still going, which is really cool and really exciting. But I'm also kind of scared because the end of If You Fall, the preview that, if you scan the QR code and like sign up on BookFunnel and stuff, that is a preview of Night Spartans 2. That currently is only like 25% written, and compared to Night Spartans 3, which is around 30-40% written. So yeah, my head is all over the place, as you could probably tell from this video. But anyway, today's agenda is put social media up, and just gonna be like just a post of like important dates and deadlines because we're almost a month away, like just a reminder to everybody. And then I'm planning to go out for lunch for a bit to kind of like just get out of the house, and then pick up the kids around 3-ish. Yeah, 3. Maybe get some writing done, or if not, just respond to people on socials. I try to respond to people who post on my socials within like at least the first 24 hours. Because it's kind of rude if I don't. I really don't want to seem rude. So if you comment on my socials, please don't take it personally if I don't respond to you within 24 hours. It's just my memory capacity is the size of an earthworm. And yeah. Okay. We'll see what we can do today. Good morning, guys. It's April 1st. I'm not planning to do too much today just because babe's at home, so we're gonna try to do more family stuff in the afternoon, but I'm going to try to get at least an hour or two writing in before I need to go drop off my sister at the airport. So it's gonna be kind of like a slow, not super busy author day. The only thing I really have to do on the agenda is I have to put up a threads post reminding people about the ARCs, which are actually closing this Sunday. Yeah. morning, guys. It is April 2nd, Thursday. Not too much to do today. I gotta look over my files and double check some of my records. I bought some books last night. I bought a couple of copies of Not Without You last night because I need them here in about 2 weeks. I have a book signing in a couple weeks, but more on that later. Yesterday, I ended up filming a reel that eventually will go up. It does talk about Indie Bookstore Day and where I'll be signing. But after that, I kind of just did little admin here and there. I also had to do a couple of things on my Notion to make sure I'm up to date on things. We are, let's see, as of April 6th-ish, May from May's next chapter, she's going to be taking over the social media in terms of making graphics for me, which is a huge weight off of my shoulders. So I'll get to kind of focus more on writing. I will be the one to put up the socials. Like what she does, she makes the content for me, and then she advises like captions and hashtags that are popular to use. So I will be uploading it. She's also doing my ARC managements right now for if you fall. Yeah, I have to look at some of my emails. I have a list of bookstores that want copies of Not Without You and Tell Me You're Mine, and they already paid. So I have to send those out. I'm hoping to do it tomorrow, so I'll pack it today. That's my hope. Right before I make my appointment. Now my appointment, the appointment that I had on Tuesday, it actually wasn't on Tuesday. I arrived there. I drove out like half an hour. I drove to the specialist, and then they're just like, you know, I was checking in, and they're just like, they were like, oh, they're giving that face like they're trying to look at their monitors, and then I just realized, oh, I'm actually not supposed to be there on Tuesday. I'm supposed to be there on Thursday. And then I kind of looked at them like, well, crap. Okay, have a nice day. And then like I went to Olive Garden with my sister. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna finish breakfast, finish my coffee, double check my emails, and make sure that I'm not missing anyone in terms of like books that are getting sold. What I do want to do eventually, it's kind of like an ongoing project. I want to create a more detailed spreadsheet, like month by month, of all the books that I have sent out and to where and how often. Because like a place that have consignments, there are a couple. The majority of my bookstore partnerships are direct sales. There are a few that are consignments. There's a good handful. But luckily I've been able to sell, or I've been able to keep a good relationship with a lot of these stores, even if I don't sell very fast. I maybe sell within 4 months or 6 months, depending on like the moods and demographic of the readers in the city. But what's interesting is there are some cities who have asked for like a replenished stock of the duology, like twice or 3 times since we started, and I was like, okay, I feel like I have a decent audience out there. Maybe I should consider traveling out there. Maybe not like in the same year, but like maybe like one day I really want to go to Vegas. I have a good relationship with the store out there. Eventually I want to go to Corpus Christi. I want to go back to like the DMV area again. Go through Florida. Yeah, I would love to, you know, see different pockets of the country. And I mean, I'm already headed out to California. I want to eventually get to Northern California. That'd be nice. So yeah, it's a lot of admin work. Being an indie author is a lot of random admin work. And eventually I would hope to like shovel this off to someone else, but we'll see. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to be doing for the morning. And then I'll have my appointment, and then lunch, and then pick up the kids. So yeah, let's get started. It's Saturday. That means it's grandparent weekend. The grandparents take the kids and I get to work. So on the agenda for today, it's already kind of late. Okay. So I already I dropped the kids off, went to Cheesecake Factory because I felt like it. Also, I went to District Taco to get some food. District Taco, if you never heard of it, it's primarily it started in District of Columbia, DC, hence the word district. Pretty sure. I'm like 60% sure on that. But anyway, it's pretty good. And honestly, being in the Florida area where a lot of the Latin cuisine is more Puerto Rican and Cuban based, for something to be like a quick Mexican food style is interesting to have. I'm kind of used to it because growing in California, we had access to like fast, like Mexicali style food. Anyway, so District Tacos, Cheesecake Factory, brought it all home, and now I'm going to do some work. I am planning to make something for Independent Bookstore Day for Romancelandia out in Central Maryland. They are also my partners for the If You Fall pre-orders. They're one of the 3 bookstores I am partnering with. Now, usually for their Independent Bookstore Day event, they give away about 10 to 15 bags, and it has different things that authors can donate, whether it's bookmarks or stickers or like any sort of promo stuff. I know that Romancelandia sometimes hosts like a crafting and journaling event every month or 2. I could be hallucinating on that. But either way, I had an idea. I think I'm going to make sticker sheets for their giveaways. It's only like, they only need like 15, so it's not a big deal. It's not a big chunk out of my budget. But the sticker sheets are basically kind of like, if you have like a reading journal and you like have a picture of the book and then you want to talk about the reviews, I have different icons that I can use for each book. Hopefully people will like it. I mean, they're stickers, they're cute, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work on this in a couple of minutes right now, and then try to figure out a safe way to pack it. And then after that, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, right. I'm gonna try to write. Yeah. Okay, let's go.